Hey everyone, welcome to episode 6 of the Creative Adventure, and in today's episode we're going to be working on building the windmill. Now I have already built one on a test world, so here's a quick sneak peek at hopefully what it's going to look like. Pretty cool, huh? So, without any further ado, let's just get straight into building. Naturally, we're going to start from the bottom and work our way up, so I'm just going to begin by putting in like a stone platform that the building is going to sit on. So, we want it to be 7 wide, into a 2, back into another 2, and then back into another 7, and I'm just going to repeat this sort of all the way around. If I could count properly. Right, so that's a good enough frame, I think. Let's just go ahead and fill that in with stone now. Right, there we go. Now we can start building the actual windmill. Now, in traditional fashion, I'm going to be basing my windmill from another video game, and that is going to be the Lumbridge windmill from RuneScape. The bottom floor contains the flour bin, which is where all the flour ends up. The middle level contains the grinder, which is obviously grinding the flour. And then the top layer contains the hopper, which is where the grain goes in. Now, whilst we're here, I do just want to point out a small little trick that these guys have used to animate their windmill. It's really hard to see if you don't know what you're looking for, but basically, this windmill isn't doing a full rotation. It's only doing a quarter of a rotation before it resets to its original position. I don't know if you can see, but when this blade, if we pick one blade at random, it looks like it's going all the way around, but actually, it starts here, gets to the top, and then resets back down here. Because it's sort of a symmetrical shape, you only need to do a quarter of a full rotation before you can reset back to the original position and make it look like it's just continually going round. So we're also going to be doing that when we come to make our fan. Right, so let's start off just by building one side. So we're going to go to the center block, we're going to go one block in, we're going to do a line of 5, and then we're going to bring that up to 4 blocks high. Then we're going to come to one of the sides, we're just going to go diagonally back 1 block, we're going to stick some spruce wood in there, and then we're going to do another pillar of oak planks right next to it. And then again, we're going to come to the other side and just do the same thing. So I'm just going to repeat this design each side. So I'm going to quickly do that. Right, so as you can see, we've got a repeating design that sort of goes all the way around now. I'm just going to punch in a door, just so we know where the entrance is. And I suppose while I'm here, we could put in the windows as well. Now the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a layer of spruce planks running around the top of these. So let's see what that looks like when it's done. Okay, so now that's done, I'm going to go ahead and I am actually going to fill in all of this just with more spruce planks, but I just wanted to show you guys a quick little tip just to speed it up a little bit. So I'm going to start just by filling these edges here. And then once I've done this, it's hopefully going to leave us with a nice little square shape. There you go. So this works with either squares or rectangles. So what we want to do is once we've got a square ready to fill, go into one corner and place a block. And then whilst you're looking at that block, type /fill, and then when you do space, it's going to show you the coordinates of that block. So I'm just going to go ahead and do tab, space, tab, space, tab, just to enter those coordinates. And then we're going to hit enter. Now, the command is going to error, which is fine. Let's go to the opposite to diagonal corner of wherever you put the first block in. Another one in. Then press enter, and then press up, or the up arrow, and it will bring back the last thing that you said. So we've just got the coordinates. If we then do another space, and then tab, space, tab, space, tab, those coordinates are now the second one we're looking at. So we're going to fill an area from the first coordinates to the second set of coordinates. And then all we're going to do is type in spruce underscore planks. There we go. So if I now tab that, if I then hit enter, it's going to fill this area just with spruce planks. And that's just a quick way of filling it all in without actually having to place, blocks manually. I appreciate that probably didn't actually seem all that quick given how small the area was, but when you do have large areas to fill, that little trick is quite useful, so I would recommend getting to know that one. Moving on to a nice easy step now, I'm simply going to do a line of dark oak stairs going all the way around the edge of spruce floor we've just put in. And then also, I'm going to do another row just on the side of it, going all the way around. So once that's done, come over to one of these sides where you've got like a gap of 3 blocks, and we're basically going to do the same as the bottom floor, just to a slightly smaller scale. So 3 oak planks, then diagonally back one, we're going to do a spruce log, and then another oak plank, and then again, same on the other side. And yep, just repeat that for the other 3 sides. Once you've got that pattern going all the way around, we now want to raise it up by another 10 blocks, so it's 11 blocks high. So just pick this one at random. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I might drop it down to just 10 blocks, but I think for now I'm going to see what it looks like, 11 blocks high. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and lift everything up so it's the same height as that. Alright, all the blocks have now been added to it, so I'm going to go ahead and actually I'm going to jump inside it. And then I'm going to go to one of the sides, doesn't really matter which one, and then just count 2 blocks, and then I'm going to punch 2 blocks out. This is going to be the windows. This is unfortunately the only floor where you sort of can't really see out the windows unless you jump, which I'm not too keen on, but unfortunately it is what it is. Let's go ahead and just do that to all the windows. And then 1 block up from that, I'm going to leave a space, and then I'm going to put in some more spruce planks. I'm going to create another sort of ceiling / floor. Go ahead, stick that in the corner, tab those in, come to the other side, tab those in. Oh, spell spruce properly. There we go. And there we go. That's that floor / ceiling now done. Okay, so next on the same level that we've just put the floor in, so 1 space above, if I just really get that one out of the way, you can see. We're going to go around, I'm going to put in another line, just a single line this time, of dark oak stairs, just going all the way around. Okay, so now we've done that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy the same again, so punch in some windows 1 block up. Then I'm also going to take just 1 line all the way around the top now of dark oak stairs. Right, now that's running all the way around. I think at this point I'm actually going to replace the top row of oak planks and spruce logs with dark oak planks instead. Alright, so there we go. Okay, so we're moving on to the roof now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on this side. Obviously the other 3 sides are going to be the same, but just to go through one first. I'm going to take off this front row of stairs and then just the corner stair as well. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to grab a stair and then stick one on the end like that. Move around, do one on the other side, and then we're going to stick 2 upside down stairs coming off the backs of those. There we go. So next we're going to take a block of oak planks, going to stick that on there. Then it's going to go back into a stair. Then again, off the back of that, we're going to stick an upside down one on either side. Then we're going to move. Actually, no, we don't want that, do we? We want stick a slab on top, and then finally another block behind it. So again, just want to repeat that on all 3 sides. And this is what you should end up with. So naturally, we're just going to connect all these up now. Pretty much self-explanatory, just joining them sort of in the middle. There is one little bit that we'll do in a sec. We'll just do one side first. Okay, there we go. So we've got a little gap down here. All I'm going to do is I'm going to put in some stairs here. And then I'm just going to give myself a debug stick. And I'm just going to change the shape of these end ones to look like that. Oh, just gone past it. And again. Right, there we go. So I'm going to apply this design just to the rest of it now. And with that, we have nearly finished the roof. one thing I just want to add, I think the top's a little bit too flat, so let's stick slabs in, sort of one block in, going all the way across. And then I'm going to count, I think, 2 blocks back from that. Oh, and then do another line going all the way across. And then finally, I might just stick a little bit at the top there. And then in each of these corners, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. Right, so that is the roof pretty much done now. Let's see how that looks from far away. Might just, do I get rid of that bit at the top? Yeah, I think that's all right. The last thing now is just to fill these bits in the middle here. So I think it looks probably a bit too much if it's just filled with dark oak. Not too keen on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use spruce wood. And just have that going along the bottom here. And then I think actually I'm going to fill this in with spruce planks. I think, yeah, I think that looks a little bit better. So yeah, just going to copy that all the way around as well now. And that is pretty much the building done now. Just a few tiny little details just to add on. I think I'm just going to stick an upside down stair just on the end there. And then also, I think I want, let's get some spruce fences in as the windows. For some reason, it always looks a little bit darker, I think. I'm going to stick in just some fences there. Again, apply it all the way around. And then that is pretty much the fabric of the building done. With that out of the way, we can finally move on to probably what everyone's been waiting for, and that is adding some blades to it and getting them to spin. So, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to spawn in 2 oak logs, and then I'm going to stick a block of netherite on the end of it, just because I like the way it looks. And then for the arms, I'm going to use polished deep slate. We're going to come out 10 blocks, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then for the sails, I'm going to be using diorite. The reason for diorite is because we want a white block, or at least I want a white block, that has a stair variation. And I think diorite looks the least plain, I guess. We've got quartz, which is basically pure white, and I think that's just going to be a bit too bland, so that's why I'm using diorite. Now, despite the fan being here, I'm actually going to start building it off over to the side over here, because we're going to be using the clone command to copy each of the different frames across. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to spawn a block in roughly here, I think. So set block, tilde, tilde, tilde. Just sticking some dirt for now, it doesn't really matter what we put in. Right, so that's going to be the center of our fan. I'm now going to go ahead and stick in 10 blocks, and I'm going to do this again for every side. Right, so now we've got a base to work off. I'm going to go ahead now and just add the sails, starting just with this first side here. So I think I'm going to go with that design. It doesn't have to be perfect, because you're not really going to see all these frames for that long. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy that to the bottom of that one, to the left side of that one, and then to the top side of that one. Alright, so that's one completed fan now. I did just change the edges of these just to stairs. I thought it looked slightly better. But what we're going to do now is we're going to just try and make a similar one, but we're going to move it slightly. So I'm just going to focus on one arm here. I think we're going to come out by 5 blocks. And then we're going to go up and have it going across another 5 blocks. So we can see the next frame of it, it's going to move very slightly up. The hardest part is the next bit here. So trying to sort of copy this design, but also have half of it go up. It's a little bit tricky, but realistically, you're probably not going to make it look exactly the same. I would also recommend avoiding using slabs. It works fine for these horizontal bits, but when you've got the vertical ones, there are no, well, at least at the time of recording this, there are no vertical slabs. If they've added them after this, then obviously feel free, but until they add them, I would avoid using just the half slabs here. Yeah, I'm just going to try and mimic sort of this sail onto this one, although it's going to be weird because half of it's going to be up, but then this half is probably going to be the same. Let's just fill all this in. I am literally just freestyling it at this point. There's not really any sort of strategy to it. Yeah, so when you look at them sort of side by side, obviously you can tell that that one looks slightly bigger. However, when we come around here, this one's up a block higher. So when you're comparing them next to each other, it does look kind of awkward. But when this fan gets replaced by this one, you're not really going to notice it too much unless they are quite out. So if I built my second one sort of going like this, you're obviously going to notice quite a big difference. So just try and make gradual changes. And then, of course, once you've done one, we're going to go ahead and repeat it for the other three. So here's the second completed fan. It's a little bit awkward to try and see with the other one behind it. So let's just drop a background in. There we go. So on its own, it doesn't look so bad. So yeah, with that one now completed, I am just going to move on to build, well, the rest of them. I don't really want to bore you guys by building each and every individual frame, so I will probably see you guys when I have gone ahead and built all of them. Right, so it looks a bit messy from sort of this point of view, but that is all of the fans now built. Some of them are better than others. I don't think it's going to matter all that much. We'll see in a sec. But as you can see, if we just take one blade, for example, it slowly moves up. And then as it sort of comes back round, right before it gets back to the default position, well, that's the last frame, and then we're going to reset it back to here, and then it's going to move around, and so on and so forth. So we're going to use the clone command to copy these across. So if I just go ahead and just take this front one just as an example, we've got this blue dot down here. So this is the very bottom left block in this square that we're going to be cloning. So if I go ahead and stare at this block, type in /clone and then tab the coordinates in, that's going to be the blue one copied. Then come back up here, bring back the command I just entered, and then do tab, tab, tab again, and then enter. It's going to error a second time because we now need to put in the destination coordinates. So if we just come over here, I've put a little block up. So this is going to be hopefully where they'll get cloned over to. So finally, I'm going to look at this one, tab, tab, tab. I'm not going to enter it because that's going to clone it over. I'm going to copy this now. And I'm going to come over just to a little pre-built circuit that I've already put together, and we're going to put it into the final frame. So copy that in there. Now, I want to quickly just cover this circuit. It's pretty basic, but there's just a couple little things. So each of these command blocks is going to be copying one of the frames. So this one is going to copy the back one there. Second one is the second one from the end. Third one, and so on. So I think there's 10 frames altogether. I've put in 3 repeaters between each command block, and I've set it to the maximum, so 4, not ticks, but the 4th setting. I've just done some playing around on my test windmill, on my test world, and for me, 3 maxed out repeaters just felt like the right amount of time between each clone. If I didn't have any repeaters in, or I just had like one that was set to the minimum, the fan would just spin really quick, which obviously we don't want. So that's why I've put 3 repeaters between each of them. Just coming over here, so just to sort of demonstrate something, it's not a problem with this one, but it can be a problem with other builds. So I do just want to sort of show you why I'm doing it in this one, even though it's not a problem. And that is, if I was to press this button, it's going to power the redstone for 1 to 2 seconds. Again, whilst it's not an issue, what it does mean is that when it gets to this part here, for example, this command block will light up first, but then the second one will light up whilst the first one is still lit. Because these are impulse command blocks, it won't matter. But if they were repeating command blocks, for example, because they'd be active at the same time, they'd both be fighting each other. So over here, we've got a command block, and all this is going to do is when I activate this button, obviously the block is going to become powered and any subsequent redstone. So when I press the button, it's going to power up to here. The second tick is going to activate the command in the command block, which is to basically just remove that block there. And all that does, it makes the, rather than it being powered for 2 seconds, it's going to be powered for like 1 or 2 in-game ticks, which is like, what, a 20th of a second, something like that. So yeah, that should be pretty much it now. This is the moment of truth. I've not tested this yet, so hopefully it works. But if we go ahead and just try it out now, fingers crossed. There we go. Is that going fast enough? We can make it go quicker if we want. So if I just change those to 3. Okay, so that's what it's like when they're all set to 3. That's a little bit quicker. Do I like that? Yeah, I think I do. I think that's all right. It's not amazing. It's not perfect. But it's good enough for me. Obviously, the good thing about this is if there's any sort of frame that I'm not particularly keen on, I can go back over here and just edit it. I've probably not done myself any favors by making them so close together, but yeah, that is pretty much the theory behind it all now. All I'm going to do is I'm going to bury all this underground, so I am going to move all of that, like all of these fans, just underground somewhere. Same with this circuit. And then once I've moved these, I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of these blocks because they're currently getting cloned in at the minute. So we'll go ahead and we'll see what that looks like once it's all been moved. Right, so we're underground now. You can see the windmills just up there. If we come down just a little bit further, you can see this room that I've created for the windmill fans. So they're all at the bottom there. If we just come up to this layer, we've got 4 different sections. So this chunk, we've just got the circuit from upstairs that we just brought down here. This one is running the windmill, so it's just cloning those frames one by one up there. Over here we've got a similar concept to the blades of the windmill. This is just the millstone, so this is going to be on the second level, and all it's going to do is just spin around. So as you can see, that's the first frame, that's the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth. And then over here, this circuit is similar to that one. It's just going to clone in those millstones one at a time upstairs, but this one just runs a little bit quicker. And then lastly, this final circuit, super simple. All it's doing is playing a sound. So it plays the minecart riding sound, I think it is. I thought you could put it in a repeating command block, but you can't. It just spams the start of the sound like 20 times a second, and it sounds awful. So this command block is playing the sound, and then as soon as it finishes, this one just plays the same sound. When that one finishes, that one plays it, and it's basically just a loop. So we'll go and check it all out now. Alright, so here is the finished product. As you can see from the outside, I've just sort of tried to texture the wall slightly with a few stripped oak logs. If you just come inside, I've decorated the interior now, so again I've textured the floor, but the main sort of centerpiece is this pipe, which has all the ground flour coming out of the bottom of it into this little barrel. Just got some powdered snow in there. But the thing that I quite like about this is the trapdoors. I hate building with trapdoors because people can just come along and just right click them and flip them down, but you can't actually interact with any of these doors because I've spawned some invisible slimes over them. So yeah, I quite like that. But yeah, if we just come up to the next level now. I don't know if you can hear it, but this is the millstone with the minecart riding sound just looping in the background. And again, some more particle effects, which hopefully make it look like flour is just sort of spilling out the sides. I really quite like that. Hopefully it's obvious as to what it is, but I've done my best. And then finally, the final level, nothing too exotic up here, just a hopper with a lever which doesn't do anything. But again, there's an invisible slime over this, so we can't actually interact with it if we try and right click. And also if you try and jump on it, it still pushes you off as if you were trying to jump onto a slime. So yeah, that is the windmill done. So yeah, I think we're going to wrap the video up there for today. You know, a massive thank you to everyone who has watched, you know, up to the end. Even if you haven't watched up to the end and you've only watched the last half or even just the first half, a massive thank you. You know, I really do appreciate it. But the main point is I really do hope people have learned something from this and you can sort of take what I've shown you and build something better than what I've built, because let's be honest, this isn't particularly exciting. But yeah, just sort of wanted to showcase sort of like the clone tool and what you can do with it. So yeah, that's it for today. Massive thank you to everyone, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. So I will see you then.